Welcome to a new test and teardown video. This time it's a Lorentzen and Wettre Electronics from Stockholm, Sweden. And from the look at the Nixies, of course it's a 1965 or something like that, plus minus 5, 6, 7 years or something like that. And I think this one is a way cell amplifier with some minimum and maximum limits. It can control something. There is a remote print memory. We got all sorts of special things. We also got a little bit of short circuit, compare with this and that, tension, check something. And we got some 4 different inputs, and the 4 different inputs, they're connected to 4 sensors at the back, or connectors, and then I believe that it's going around, and you can check the speed here, and that will of course be some different ranges. I also think this Nixie readout here is a panel meter. I actually also think that this is the model that I have stocked as a spare part as well. But that is, well, the first little intro from the front panel. So here at the back we can see this, probably a printer or IEEE, not exactly IEEE maybe. We got the 4 different transducers, nicely marked with some color codes. There'll probably be some analog readout. They say BCD output, but I think this is the readout unit. And there's of course a little mains output to something else when you power this up. It's not using that much power. And here we can see the type number is this CFS3. And then yes, Stockholm, Sweden and all that. So I believe the case was a 2-unit rack. This 19-inch rack system, 2-unit height. So here is the unit inside, and it is just one huge circuit board with a little bit of transistors and analog stuff. So here we go with some, what is that, 741 op amps, and that one is from 73. A lot of transistors, and this one is from 74, another op amp, and maybe this system is using a balanced way cell at a AC, not DC, because look at that. We got some isolation transformers for this. It's connected to all these switches that's doing the different setups for this, and then I believe this is doing the drive and all that. And here is also a little bit more of amplifiers and power supplies and stuff like that. And oh yeah, I saw some really nice transistors down there. Look at those, quite special, and the rare. And here is the power supply. Just a transformer, rectifier, capacitors, positive and negative regulators, nothing fascinating here. Some AEC and some DC outputs. And also, the mains entry, of course it goes back and forward because it also goes out to other units. And they did, of course, twist the wires, and they have them mounted so they are not floating around and connecting to anything or coupling to everything. And also the way that the tracks they are made, look at those tracks that goes in a funny shape like that. And there's a reason for this. Let me try and lift it. See, it is of course to follow the return path of signals. Ooh, we got a little bit of shielding tracks as well here. This is all quite interesting. See here again, shielding tracks, and all this tells me they're trying to avoid leakage in the circuit board. Yeah, there are a few things I also want to show. Here is the panel meter readout, and this one is running on AC mains. We got 2 connectors for that one. That is also a little bit interesting. This is of course because of the 2 circuit boards in there to access the 2 circuit boards. And I think that is probably the only thing that I will be able to power up here, because I don't have the sensors. I don't have anything at all. Yeah, that was a thing I wanted to show. Look at all the high quality multi-turn potentiometers and Elma switch. This one is very, very expensive and reliable, and there's probably a reason for these things, because they want this to be very accurate and stable. Here at the bottom, they're using some huge switches. I don't know if you can see how big they are. Definitely some high quality, very, very expensive stuff. And look at, yeah, here it is. This is what I wanted to show. So this is the ground, the star ground point for everything that is going on in this area. Look at all the ground connections. They go to all sorts of individual things. And this way they avoid coupling or contaminating other signals, because they have this. Instead of having a full ground plane all over the place, they could have copper poured everything and just sew it completely together, and then this way you will have a lot lower impedance. But this way you don't have any kind of contaminations in the return path. And that's probably what they wanted to have. And that is a lot of VS or something like that. That is under the power supply, right? So what is going on in this area? I need to have a little look at that as well. It's definitely manual layout, and you can also see this by the angles of tracks and the different ways that this is done. This is just done by tape on a transparent film. No CAD or anything was used, because this is from 1976. And I know that because this is the highest date code we have on these little signal transformers. So let's try and power this up and see what happens. I don't think a lot is going to happen, but yeah, that is using 45 watts. This is actually a good sign. Oh, it's blinking a lot, is it? What else can we do? We can change the... Of course, we don't have anything mounted. On, off, memory. We actually got a little bit of lamps in here. If I turn off the light, we can barely see. This is definitely running on mains blinky frequency. Well, this is super annoying for the camera, but in real life you don't really see this. Yeah, well, it's probably working if you have the right sensors, but I don't have anything to use this for, so I'm sorry, but it's gonna go back to storage. But it was just super fun to see how this is designed and what can it... Oh yeah. What can it do? I don't know. It cannot do a lot for me, but it's using 40 watts. That is a lot, isn't it? Maybe I will see if I can find a little bit of a sensor or something. See if I can make it read something. Let's try and measure what is the drive supply for the sensors. So here we take the two outside. Ooh, 3.5 volt AC, and here is the frequency. 4.3 kilohertz is the drive. That is interesting. So I added some resistors for one of the bridges, and now I can follow the signals to this switch that selects this. I think it's that one, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 sensors. And this signal actually now goes on, and it goes in here and it gets amplified. And I also see some stuff going on when I poke around with the trimmers here, but it's somehow not going to be displayed no matter what I do. So I mean, I can't spend a million hours trying to figure this out anyway, since I don't have anything else for this one. But so that means I will just call it a day. But I just wanted to show this pretty cool old unit. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.